How do you look at the Nifty at this point in time? Do you think this this range-bound trade will now continue for some time between 24,000 to 24,500 before we inch up?
Very good morning. Firstly, thank you for having me at the show. Well, yes, no doubt we are witnessing a kind of a strong recovery, specifically in the last two trading sessions. But again, on the higher end, I'm expecting the zone of nearly 24,350, followed by 24,500 to be seen as resistance zone. Although on the technical fronts, there has been some positive developments, but again, on the higher end, Nifty is having a very stiff resistance of a sloping trend line of the recent swing closer for on the daily time frame chart for Nifty. So I'm expecting the zone of 24,250 will be the first crucial juncture. Above having a sustainable move beyond 24,250 can only provide some kind of positive traction. But looking at the developments that we are going to see for the day at the opening bell, nearly 80 points of correction or 80 points of dip is being witnessed by the gift Nifty. So I'm expecting that dip should be utilized as buying opportunity. The undertone is very positive for the market. There has been broad-based buying traction, but beyond Nifty 500 is looking quite more positive to me. So one should look for broader market participation rather than stuck into the heavyweights. I am expecting for Nifty specifically 24,100 to be seen as a support zone. So any dip towards 100, 120 for intraday can be seen as buying opportunity. On the higher end, again 24, 250, 280. These will be very crucial juncture. These will be seen as the resistance zone for Nifty for the day. But if there will be any kind of traction beyond 280 on the spot levels, then again we can witness some kind of positive traction coming back in the market.
Kunal, how do you look at some of the second-tier banks, Kotak Mahindra, Axis? How are they looking on the charts for you?
Still not attractive, I'll say, Sajid, because even after this correction of 10% for both of these names, Axis, Kotak, the momentum is not there into these, stocks. The bigger worry is that the private sector banking names itself is struggling as an index to outperform. Now, we looked at the monthly performance, and the private and the PSU banking names apparently are amongst the underperformers on a relative basis. So that itself tells you that we are not in a zone where the entire sector is going through a big rally, because when sectors go into a big rally, even underperformers get a chance or a reprieve that they can come back and join the league of outperformers, if not outperform, at least to come back towards an at par performance. But I think that given the context of the stocks as well as the setup so far, I would sense an Axis and Kotak Bank can continue to just about languish or trade into this range.
Osho, the other bank which we need to look at is AU Small Finance Bank and maybe a Federal Bank. How are they looking?
For AU Small Bank, the counter is looking quite decent on the technical front, not very much optimistic or having a kind of a breakout zone, but it is having a positive consolidation. On the lower front, there is a strong support around the zone of 1020 and 1000. So that could be considered healthy, and there one may look for accumulation in the counter. While on the higher end, the zone of 1070 to 1080 has seen multiple heads, has seen multiple resistance zones. So until we see a decisive breakthrough beyond 1075, till that time, it's better to look for buying on the dips in the counter. But the time it gives a breakthrough, the overall technical structure from a medium-term point of view is quite positive. So I'm expecting if it reaches 1075, then from there onwards, another 60 to 65 points of rally can be seen from medium-term point of view. From shorter-term perspective, look dips as a buying opportunity in AU.
That's the take coming in on AUSFB, and some of these stocks, of course, reacting to their earnings. Just want to check in on what the state of Oberoi Realty, Brigade Enterprises, all these newsmakers is. Ramco Systems as well, Hind Rectifiers, they've secured their first US order as well for traction motor assemblies. So look out for that stock too. GAIL India, after signing an MOU, Osho should be seeing an earnings reaction. Dabur as well, wherein the Q1 numbers are a beat. And both on the revenue as well as EBITDA as well, supported by a double-digit volume growth that they have actually posted. Karnataka Bank too, strong numbers there, although Dabur, the reaction isn't quite playing out. Karnataka Bank, the Q1 profits have jumped about 43.5%, so solid set of earnings there. And the NII as well has seen an uptick of nearly about 24.5%, so good going for some of these earnings candidates. Other than that, technology really, especially after what you heard from Cognizant, let's see whether that rub-off on IT plays out for one another day after that very strong move that you saw once again in trade yesterday. And then, of course, MTAR Technologies as well. A sizable order from an existing customer is what they've bagged now, 3,900 odd crore rupees is the quantum for that order, 1.6% higher for MTAR Technologies. This is really turning out to be the strongest of the lot. Kunal, in fact, let's revisit the entire defense play, because all through last year, it was about leadership names like a BEL. Then, you had some of the shipyard stocks as well jumping into the fray. And now it's, really turning about these very niche defense plays like an MTAR, etc. What is it that you're liking now?
Yeah, there are those niche stocks. I think MTAR Tech, Paras Defense, Azad Engineering. There are so many stocks which have done reasonably well for themselves in the last few months or a couple of quarters. In the last 6 months, for example, MTAR Tech has moved on from being a stock at 1,800 towards the point when the stock was almost at 8,200, 300, but it's now fallen back to that 5,000 plus kind of a mark. You've seen Paras Defense, I think, moving from 600 towards almost 1,400, and now the stock settling around 1,200 levels. So a major part of the rally for the defense stocks has happened in the last 6 months, and specifically for the names which have been the non-FNO stocks or the non-frontline names as such. And I would sense that that's where the defense stocks would continue to concentrate on the movement would be. Paras Defense is something which I would believe traders could look at current levels at the current juncture of 1,200 mark.
Well, Syngene has posted very weak numbers, and that strong reaction is playing out in the pre-open rate itself. The EBITDA has seen a downtick of 56%, and the top line as well has degrown about 16%. So look out for what that stock does. Vedanta Oil and Gas, EBITDA downtick of 7.7%. Margins as well have seen a dip on a sequential basis. For Vedanta Power, it's a net loss versus profit. So that too should have had a weak start for itself. And then, of course, there's Vedanta Iron and Steel, though, which has posted good numbers. Revenue uptick of 18%, margin at 13.9%. And that reaction is clearly playing out in the name. Star Health, Balkrishna Industries, a team lease, these are all very strong earnings reactions. And most of these stocks are reacting to those performances as well. There's, of course, Acme Solar as well and MTAR, like we just discussed. Want to check in on the realty names as well, with news flow around Oberoi Realty as well as Prestige both. So look out for what that stock does. And then iShares, let's revisit that stock and whether that earnings reaction is playing out on the name. Revenue uptick of 20%, increase in production to meet ahead of the festive demand. That's the commentary coming in from the management. Osho, curious to know what within two-wheelers are you liking? Because it started off with very good numbers from TVS. There was a catch-up from Bajaj Auto then, and now it's iShares.
See, overall, from two-wheeler industry, majority TVS Motor is looking very positive. TVS Motor have seen very strong momentum in the recent period. It has even breached the recent swing high and has been testing the new fresh lifetime high. So this will be the preferred pick. I'm expecting nearly 4,140 as the short-term or immediate-term target in TVS Motor. But again, the other counter which is looking a potential, which is having a potential reversal candidate is Hero Moto. So Hero Moto have also seen a very strong technical reversal pattern. There has been a sloping trend line breakout in Hero Moto. So I'm expecting that it might see a further upside momentum towards 5,400. So that will be the first target on a positional basis. And if it reaches the zone of 5,400, then from there onwards, we can see even further movement towards 5650, 5700 from a medium-term perspective. So overall, this counter is looking quite decent from a risk-reward point of time. But from a momentum play, TVS Motor still have some very strong momentum.